Hey, all you Schwick heads, it's Shari Schwick of Schwick Wheels. Today on Behind the Wheels podcast, we are welcoming Michael DiNome of Little Pete's Towing. Today, we're talking about his personal journey, some crazy tow truck stories, and why family is the 6-letter F word. You get it here only on Behind the Wheels podcast of Schwick Wheels. Mike.
Hello, Sharon.
I'm so happy to see you.
Happy to see you.
Representing Little Pete's.
Yeah. Something like that. Pete couldn't make it, but it's all right.
Okay. We'll just talk about him then.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with that. So for our Schwick heads to know out there, this is Michael DiNome, Mikey Toes on Instagram of Little Pete's Towing. And Mike, you and Peter have been completely transforming our operations, transportation in the last year or so. And I kind of wanted to go to the beginning because we like to talk a little bit about like small business, entrepreneurs, relationships, all this kind of stuff. And out of all the things of how you and I finally got connected, because we live less than 5 miles apart.
Correct.
You called me on a cold call on Instagram DMs.
Yeah. It went down in the DM, girl.
It was awesome. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, you know, I mean, if you want me to say what I really want to say, you know, I mean, listen.
You had been trying to get in touch with me for a while through personal.
Through other people.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that point of contact didn't probably want me to be involved.
Yeah.
And,
literally roadblocks.
Yeah.
To getting in communication
And I
with
just, you know, I knew you guys needed somebody logistically. I knew where you guys were going with the business. And I felt like I was a good fit, you know, and I felt like I would be able to help you guys and kind of get that stress out of transportation. I mean, just think about it. Just think about Bill, you know, trying to drive a trailer down to Vegas.
I don't want to. I don't want to. So what did you do? You just go on Instagram, you look up my profile, and you're just like, screw it. And you hit the phone.
Boom.
I've done that to Bryce, too.
And I don't know.
When I think about it.
And I don't know what day it
God
was.
bless Instagram phone.
See? I don't know what day it was. Or I mean, I could probably look back. I probably still have the DM.
I'll tell you what I was doing. I was on the up desk at Houlihan Lawrence at my real estate shop.
And you clicked on it?
And I'm like,
hold on. I might still have it. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see.
Which I was not cold calling, by the way, because that is illegal in the state of New York.
Yeah, I could scroll back. I could say the exact day.
Come on.
Yeah. July 21st of 2023.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then you replied on the 23rd. So you took 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you called and I answered right away.
No.
Oh, the power of being a girl.
It's okay.
But that was a fabulous conversation.
It was.
And then things happened pretty quickly from there. And you came over, and one of your first transport jobs was with your flatbed. Mm-hmm. And we took the Range Rover down? Or you were bringing the Range Rover back.
But I think we brought down the McLaren and the STO.
That's right, down to Florida.
And that was the first trip?
That was the first trip. And one of the very first things that you oriented us to, and I would like you to explain this to the car enthusiasts and people who are interested in, you know, vetting out good transportation, like what they should be looking for, is one of the very first things that you moved us from was moving us from towing with D rings to then 8-point straps.
Tie downs?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So basically, you know, these trailers, they're great, but you know, there's certain tie downs that you need. And that basically, like you and I had a video on that already. And
shout out to BNA. Tie down.
And, you know, basically the D-ring straps, a lot of people think that they're okay, but then you're putting pressure on one point of the rim. And if you do crank that down too hard, you are going to bend the wheel. And I basically, you know, explain that to you, and that, you know, we need straps that go over the top of the wheel, and we were able to get that facilitated, and that was good. You know, it's a common error. You know, they can be used if they're done a certain way, but you don't want to take the chance, you know.
Right. So obviously not taking any business away from you guys on the East Coast, but hopefully we're reaching people everywhere. What do you want car owners to know, exotic car owners to know in terms of when you are hiring somebody, what should you be looking for? What are some red flags, do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends because there's two branches. There's like, you know, transporters, and then there's, you know, there's towers. You know, a lot of people go more towards the transporters because they're able to give them a better deal because they're able to carry more than one vehicle. You know, as far as a tower, you know, they're going to look to make a little bit more of a higher ticket because, you know, maybe on a flatbed, you're only able to hold one exotic. So, you know, my suggestion to people that are first starting out or wanting to transport their vehicle, if you want a more one-on-one white glove service, I'd say to go with a tow truck company, especially one, you know, do your research and make sure, you know, most of the time you want enclosed trailers. And that's obviously why we got into you getting the double decker and all that stuff.
Yeah. And the difference between carpeted walls and all that jazz.
Non-carpeted or plywood or stuff like that. Yeah.
And then the ramps go into it. And
yeah, the ramps and, you know, it's just when you have a transporter, like, you know, tractor trailer type, the problem is with that is you have to be worried. You know, you can't really contact that driver. I mean, maybe if you're lucky to get a contact. The pro to that, like I said, is the amount.
The cost. Because you're sharing costs with maybe 3, 4, 6 different vehicles.
Enthusiasts, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Gotcha. Cool.
So that's that.
You and I also share something in common.
What's that?
Besides being Italian American, which is amazing.
Sharon?
Just a little elitist. Think about that.
What do we share?
What do we share? That we're both intimately involved in family businesses.
Yeah, that sucks.
You
it sucks.
are.
It sucks. All right.
I always say that family is the 6-letter F word.
It sucks. See, I got to drink my water because.
Drink up.
Shout out to Mountain Valley.
Drink up your Mountain Valley right there, buddy. So you are working with your big brother.
Correct.
And I am working with my husband. And they actually have some character similarities.
They could be twins, okay? I say it all the time. How many times do I tell you that? I'm like, Sharon, Peter just said something. He sounds just like Bill. And then I got the two of them in my ear. I'm like, oh my God.
And then if I'm having a fight with Bill, Peter will call me and relax.
Yeah.
And then if you and Peter are having a phone call, Peter, either you and I will talk, or Billy will call Peter and tell him to relax and talk to you differently.
Yep.
Behind the scenes.
It's like if you call me for a job, right? I hang up with you. We facilitate. We put in place, you know, the chain of events. We set everything in stone. Then I'll get a call from Bill. I'll get a whole different story. And I just hear the Sharon voice in the back of my head. Don't do anything with Bill. And I'm just like, all right, now I got to call her back, but I don't want to ruin her marriage and throw Billy under the bus.
You're not going to be the reason why my marriage is ruined. Let me just release you of that stress.
But, you know,
right now.
I don't want to get in between you guys. So then I'm like, oh my God, I have to throw Billy under the bus now and tell Sharon what the hell he said to me.
Right.
And then I don't know. I don't know what happens from there because you never really tell me all that much.
That's so funny.
But
what is... you know, because there's a lot of people enamor us from the outside and be like, oh, you guys have a family business. That must be so great in terms of making your own hours. And like, what would you like people to know in terms of starting a small family business and like the sweat equity that goes into that?
Well, a lot of people think, and you'll hear investors on TV and stuff like that, or Instagram Reels or wherever. People think that, you know, to start your own business, you're going to work 5 days, 9 to 5, and make $1 million a year. And it doesn't happen. You know, you never have a day off. You have to hustle, and it's hard. It's hard. I mean, we're expanding now to North Carolina. We've been in business 10 years, and it's just it's not easy. It's not easy, and
You have to dedicate yourself to the grind.
yeah, dedication is the big
almost
thing.
more than any other dedication that you have. Like,
Correct.
you know, that's other relationships, that's your dating life, that's your married life, that's your
Yeah, and whoever you're with or you know, dating or married to, they have to be understanding going into that relationship and know that you're looking to start a business or, you know, have a business. You have to lay down the foundation because you got to hustle. You got to hustle. And I'm sure, you know, listen, you guys, I look up to you and Bill. You guys are hustlers too, you know.
making a brand out of nothing.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, between that and doing, you know, doing the realty and all that, I mean,
Yeah.
you got your side gigs there, and
You
it's
have
great.
to diversify. I can't.
Yeah,
You know, we were at Italian Cars and Coffee
the one in Jersey,
the one in Jersey in Hoboken. And shout out to them, Italian Cars and Coffee out in Hoboken, New Jersey. That was a beautiful show. Smaller show. They're growing.
but great. It was great. All the Ferraris and stuff. Yeah,
Everything was Italian made, of course. And that infamous question shows up during people walking past. It was probably the Rivolto and the because we had the Rivolto, the STO, and the Urus that day.
correct.
You drove the STO. I had the Rivolto, and then Peter drove the Urus
Yep.
because the technical was down with Ron at Legendary.
Legendary. Yep.
And so we're at the waterfront. It's a beautiful day. We're having a great conversation with people walking by, which I'll also go into. And then the infamous question comes from a person I didn't think it would come from, comes from a slightly older woman. And she comes to me and she goes, "What do you do for a living?"
That's
You know, that infamous question. What
that
do you do
hate.
for a living?
That you hate.
I really don't like that question. But, you know, I swallowed my pride a little bit because, you know, it was the Italian festival. I had to bring out my manners. Of course. And I just went for it. And I said, you know what? I'm actually going to tell you what the trick is. I said, you really want to become wealthy? And I can actually start seeing people like starting to like, I'm getting an audience. I said, you need to diversify yourself. You need to like you hear about diversifying your portfolio. I said, you need 7 different types of income streaming in at any given time. It can be small,
100%.
you know, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to be, you know, I'm just going to start towing cars. No, because what do you do on the back end? You have to be able to, like what you do in the office. Like, what are you maintaining this whole time?
Oh, well, for myself, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, like I have to do, you know, I do a lot of clerical work. I do billing,
Yes.
and then I'm on the road sometimes too. So
Right. I mean, so like if you only focused on what you do on a transporting side, it's constantly having to come in.
correct. Yeah.
You and your beautiful love, Haley, you have something going on in North Carolina. So that plate is spinning. And then this other thing is going on over here. And people need to start realizing that it's not like, oh, they like cars and now they make money, or, oh, she's a realtor and that's why she makes money. No. I have to diversify and figure out 7 different streams of income. And
That's right.
you start setting those up 2, 3, 4 at a time.
Different baskets, you know.
Different baskets.
It's hard, and there will be struggles. There will be, you know, there will be bumps in the road, but you know, you get through it.
Success is built on failure.
Yeah.
You know?
Failure, and it breeds enemies, and
Yeah, it does. If you're not careful, it cuts a lot of fat. Even though you and I are good at steak buddies. We'll get into that in another time.
That's right, girl.
We like steak.
No, no
Even though we've never gone to dinner together to get a steak.
no Applebee's or McDonald's, Bill. You know.
But oh shoot, where was I going with this? It can cut a lot of fat in terms of when you are in the grind and you are gathering people around you who you thought were going to be with you for the long haul. They start either start falling behind, they start getting jealous, and they will actually keep a phone number from you.
100%.
And then and what's interesting is I think entrepreneurship is probably one of the very few places where you get to experience that part of life of figuring out who's actually for you and who's actually against you.
Correct.
Because here, at least at Schwick Wheels, I feel like one of the reasons why we do well with you guys and Little Pete's and the other entrepreneurs that we bring in because we want to be with you guys. We want to be with other small entrepreneurs. In that you're figuring out who has the best talent, the best passion, because that is the upside in this entrepreneur spirit is you're getting the best talent, the best passion, the best intellect, the best innovation. And why not surround yourselves with people who know more than you in different areas?
Well, the thing is you have to, and you know this the best, you have to surround yourself with people that, want to grow with you. Yeah. You can't just have somebody that wants to sit in a seat. You know, and
who just wants to caravan and drive a car and
get a paycheck at the end of the week, and it's very hard to find. And I've learned that. And, Pete's not here. I wish he was here so we could tell him,
have to do part 2.
Yeah. But, I told him, like, you've got to, you got to really read people, and if you don't, what ends up happening is you give them everything that you're supposed to give the person that wants to grow with you, and they end up, backstabbing you or leaving you. And then
abandonment is a real thing in business.
It is, and it's atrocious, and it's happened more times than I can count on my hands. Yeah.
And that's grit in of itself, is knowing that I'm gonna fall on my ass and I'm gonna have to pick myself up again. Correct. I'm gonna be rejected and I'm gonna have to trust people again. Yeah. It's a lot.
I mean, and I know it's happened to you and Bill a couple of times.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that was one of the first conversations I had with you on that cold call.
Which one?
When I finally talked to you. Yeah. And I said, listen to me. And I think I started calling you Mikey right away. So I apologize for that up front.
No, I love that. You go by
Mikey, which is weird. But I was like, he's a Mikey to me on the phone. And I was like, listen to me, Mikey. I said, I don't need someone else abandoning me. I don't know if you remember that part of the conversation.
You did say that to me.
Because I mean, whether we're talking tow or transportation, you're my fourth vendor. And so far, I think we're working on it. We're getting there.
Like
It's tough.
We hadn't spoke for a while, right? Because like Christmas, New Year's, the whole thing, everybody's busy. But then as soon as spring comes, we pick right back up, and we're rolling to the car shows and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone above and beyond. Yeah. I mean, you do more than just transport. Like you've been looking at my garage and trying to figure out like this analogy, just like. Get rid of this and get rid of that, and you need one of these. And
I'll clear house.
I mean, yeah.
I hate hoarding, and I know Bill's a big hoarder. It's not a pretty neat hoarder, but
he has a Sharon.
Okay,
that's all. But speaking of adversity, I want to show the good people what's behind you, and what I have a copy here is a very beautiful copy of American Towman. Dun da da da, and on the cover is Little Pete's Towing. Is there a special name for this big boy, this big rig on the cover?
I don't know, but
I feel like it needs a name.
American Towman titled it My Baby, and it's funny because like Peter calls it his baby.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know really if he has a name for it. We got to ask him.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
So do you know, what really got me, and I shed a tear over it, Towman tenacity, overcoming adversity. Mm-hmm. So, can you tell me a little bit what's going on in this issue?
So they interviewed Pete. I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could see the article in there. Yeah. And basically, I don't know the original reason why that's why we kind of needed his ass here. Because gotcha. I don't know the original reason why they came to him and wanted to interview him. Yeah. I don't know if it's because they heard his storyline from so many people. Right. Or
because he just came from obscurity. He was
we started with a pickup truck.
Look at this beauty.
Yeah.
This is right here. Yeah. That's just gorgeous.
So, he bought this used pickup from a dealer in Route 4 in Paramus, New Jersey.
No kidding.
We dealt with Augie, the salesman, and Romeo, which was his sidekick. Actually, Augie
and Romeo, those are good Jersey Italian names.
And we bought it from them. It was an old man's truck, two-door Chevrolet Silverado 2500. It had a plow on it. Peter's like, I'm going to have a tow truck with a plow. I'll be able to tow and plow. And so this is actually right before that, he had gone through partnerships, and partners almost never work.
Yeah.
It was just, and he always worked for somebody, and he wanted to work for himself. So he started the company, named it after my nephew, Little Pete.
Little Peter. Yeah.
And not little anymore. He's 10 years old, and he's almost as tall as me.
It's a string bean. Just whoop.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we started with that, and I don't know if I ever told you the story or you ever heard it.
No, I've never heard the story.
Yeah.
You think you know somebody, Michael.
And Peter had got they call it a slide-in unit, and it's basically a tow truck boom, and it goes into the back of a pickup bed. And we started from then. And one of our first big contracts, I want to say it might have been 2015. We acquired a big contract. It was Co-op City in the Bronx.
No
So,
kidding.
yeah, we were in charge of all of those buildings and towing all the illegally parked cars. And we had a lot of angry people. They would park on the dumpster pads and they would call the news on us. And one guy got on the news and they interviewed him, and he's like, "Oh, this is like the wild, wild west out here. They just steal the cars." And it was crazy. We're not stealing them. We were hired by River Bay, which is their agency, property management. And they had our plaques there with our phone number, and we would take the cars and they would call us, say, "Hey, this person parked illegally." And that was one of our big contracts. And we hit it off from there. Go ahead.
Now you guys have a couple like 50-ton trucks.
Yeah, he's got a 50-ton, a 25-ton, and
You got some big boys.
Due to economic, listen, we grew, and we grew pretty large. Zips is the one that helped us, which is our tow truck manufacturer. They helped us grow, and unfortunately, due to economic circumstances, we downsized a little bit. But downsizing is not failure. And that's something that I had to instill in my brother, that downsizing is not failure, and that, better days will come, and sometimes you have to sell off to, get yourself back on track. And then once you get yourself back on track, then you rebuild.
Yeah. Well, they're beautiful trucks.
Thank you.
And then you guys also have a very little car.
Oh, the smart car?
You have a smart car.
Smart car.
Your fleet is amazing. You have everything from like a smart car to a Tesla.
Listen, a smart car is my daily driver, and everybody stares at it. And you drove it a couple of times in the driveway, and it's cool. It's a little 3-cylinder thing. It gets 100 miles to the gallon.
I always wonder what it would feel like being in my Barbie mobile.
Billy always rags on my smart car. It's all right.
That's okay.
King Bill.
About time you showed up.
Oh, you got flat feet. No wonder why your back kills you.
I got nothing wrong with my back, my man. I still bench press 350.
Do you really bench press 350?
Yes, I do.
Really?
How you doing?
How you doing,
geez.
Mr. Bill?
How you doing? What's going on with the little clown car outside?
Yeah, you like that. I say we were just talking about it.
That's
Billy always makes fun of that car.
That's a good segue, actually.
So, I'll tell you a little story about the clown car. So, I'm in traffic one day in Manhattan.
Don't tell me you see me down there.
No, this guy drives by in a minivan on my right side in that TRX truck.
Yep.
And as he's driving by, he slows down like a scene out of a movie. And he goes like that, and he gives me the finger. And I'm like, is this guy for real? And then he smiles, and then he goes right. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm going after him. But he got stuck at the light. So I jump out of the truck, and I'm walking towards the minivan. I can see him in the mirror. He gets out, and he starts running down Park Avenue.
Oh, my God.
So I run up to his car, right?
Yeah.
And who's in front of it? The police in the clown car. Because the car was so small, I couldn't see it.
Yeah, the smart car. Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes, yo, what's the matter? I say, yeah, you can see my license. I don't know what you're talking about. I was checking on the guy, man. I thought something happened.
Welfare check.
Why is he running down the street? And he goes, come here. I said, I'm out of here. I got to go. So I ran back to the truck, and I cut across the street.
Oh, my God.
You ain't getting me, bro. Popo's a no-no.
Well, there's your thumbnail, Bryce.
There you go.
So the smart car is also fun to segue with, because we were just talking to Mikey about the wraps that these guys go to lengths for on their trucks. The big boys, all the way
Mr.
down
Vinny
to the smart car.
Pinstripe. Mr. Vinny Pinstripe.
I don't know. I never met this guy. I heard about him.
Sharon went to deal with him. She's got to deal with the customers, all right? And
What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
All right.
I can't deal with the customer.
No.
Well, I need to be Vinny Pinstripe before he wants to do anything.
He almost lost me, because he was pretty cold when
Vin. I warned you. I warned you how
Sharon
Sharon is, Vin.
Yeah, it was. I was not.
Well, somebody else said he's like that too, though. You're not the
But
only
then you got to know
Peter,
him, and
probably
he's
Peter.
very talented. But these, I mean, we showed the baby. They were on the cover of American Towman.
Yeah, he could see it right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bill.
and then
Oh, you bought the picture.
That was the
That's
magazine,
awesome.
yeah.
I like
and
that.
then here's the inside of the magazine again. And just like these beautiful wraps that you guys go. So obviously you guys use a lot of Looney Tunes, a lot of Tasmanian Devil, Tweety Birds, all that. Like, what is that connection?
So that's actually in Peter's interview. So Tasmanian Devil is actually supposed to be Little Pete. And the two Tweety Birds is supposed to be the twins, Pete's twin girls.
Oh.
Pete did not know that Tweety Bird is a male.
That's all right. It's cute.
But I said, you know what? It is what it is. So we just kept it going, you know.
I mean,
but
you guys go to many conferences, right? Whether it's Lake George or Baltimore.
Baltimore is
You
another
guys
one.
came in what place this year in Baltimore?
He placed second with this truck this year, and we placed first the year before.
Yeah.
I don't know what won first place this year, but
And what conference is that in Baltimore that you guys go to?
that's the American Towman.
Okay.
They call it a tow convention,
Okay.
tow show, whatever.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and that's just basically a bunch of tow trucks, like a car show, like SEMA. You know,
Yeah.
just a bunch of equipment and new things that come out, and motor clubs that we do business with.
I mean,
and-
it's quite an extensive wrap. So what is it? Just the taste? Is it just like you guys just had a full commit, like full send it, like just full
yeah,
send?
Pete had spoke with Vinny and was like, Vin, just go to town. And Vinny's good at designing. His father was in business since 1957, I think. Vin,
Okay.
if I'm right, I hope I'm right.
Well, maybe we'll have
But-
Vinny on.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, he started, and I said, Pete told him, go to town with it. And so he came up with the gold leaf design and everything like that.
He did a good job.
Yeah, it was good. So.
Your trucks are the nicest tow trucks I've ever seen.
So speaking of your logo, you got stuff for us today.
Yeah, I got a little gift for
What you got?
guys.
What you got? What you
I got
got?
a little gift.
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Billy?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
2X, right?
No,
2X.
2X. You like your shirts tight, dude.
Every time I buy you 2X, you go, what do you think
That's
I
an
am?
XL, but if you want a 2X, I could give you one.
And Michael asked me if you wanted 2X, and I said no. I'll get
Everybody
in.
has to work tomorrow.
Okay.
Michael asked me if you wanted 2X. I said no. I'll get in trouble.
I'm large. I don't know where. What?
See?
Oh my!
Oh my
God.
goodness.
That
Bill.
was very mean.
No, it wasn't. You wanted it tight like that?
It's not even tight, Bill. She has another shirt on.
Yeah, but not a shirt.
On
that's right.
camera, you are literally caught telling your wife you need 2X.
No, I didn't say it like that.
Did I ruin the part in my hair?
Here we go with the bullshit.
Bullshit. Exactly.
That's what it was for.
Okay, everybody, you know what Bill's initials are? BS.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
He's a bean shooter like Peter.
Oh
They
my
bullshit.
God.
You can't bullshit a bullshitter.
Oh
No,
my
it means be by my side.
Yeah. Billy. So, you know, fuck all this other talk, right? Bill?
God. Oh, wow.
We're
Where's
allowed
the
to curse on this?
Yes, of course you are. You can
Oh,
do whatever the hell
fucking
you
awesome.
want.
Go ahead,
That's
go.
what the, that's
Shoot
what the
for
beat
it.
button is for.
Where's the Temerario, dude? Did you order it yet?
No, we're not getting that.
Yeah, you
No.
are.
It's ugly.
No.
Come on.
About as ugly as my old sneakers.
Wow.
10,000 RPM, dude.
We
That-
took a
come
lot
on.
of losses last year.
I know.
I mean, this whole hybrid supercar life is not for the weak of heart.
No, the Revolto destroyed us.
We were just talking
We
about
were
that.
talking about that privately off camera. One
were-
of these days we'll
we
have
were
you come
just
on
talking
camera
about
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
No, but
No
I
more
mean,
hybrids. I'm good.
Bill likes his gas engines.
It's
I
not
mean, I
that.
do
It's
too,
that
honestly.
It didn't do nothing for us.
Yeah.
So
Hellcat Bill.
It's cursed.
Lamborghini, as long as it's not a hybrid.
We're going to get the Urus SE next year.
Okay.
That's a hybrid.
So he is going to get another hybrid.
Well, the Urus is nice. It drives nice.
So from your perspective, not that we're trying to make this like a hot topic, but it is a hot topic, and we're not trying to slant the conversation one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But from you, honestly, I mean, from a towing perspective, you know, what is your take on this whole hybrid?
So that's a great question, because obviously with the, you know, with the car market expanding and electric becoming more and more popular, you know, obviously towers need to become knowledgeable on the new stuff and everything. and we hate them. We hate them. Electric, first of all, we don't have the infrastructure for it yet.
No, 100% not.
You know, automakers are rushing it, and they are not. The technology's there, but like I said, the infrastructure's not there. Yeah. So the problem is that, you know, what sucks about them is most of them can't be put into neutral. When the batteries die, they are dead. Like dead.
We
as a
have
doornail.
experienced that with you.
Correct.
With the hybrid.
With the Revolto.
Revolto, which is a very expensive car to go through that with.
Yes. Keep going, Mike.
Yeah, we're gonna go past. Let's go past that.
And yeah, listen, it is what it is. But so basically, yeah, they suck because, you know, the amount of training that is needed for these things. You know, these automakers, they don't even give us they give us a certain amount of like pamphlets and stuff, but you have to kind of like figure it out yourself.
And that's what we learned too. And I mean, we are with you guys, and you guys are meticulous. Like you want to talk about white glove, you want a white glove experience, you're going to use Lil Pete's. And the fact that we weren't getting oriented, and you had gone with me to different dealerships, and they were like, well, you're just going to turn it on, and this mode does this, and this mode does that. And we're like, just the lack of orientation, I think from everybody top down is
100%.
astronomical. And then what's also interesting, one of the bigger jobs, as we're talking, I remember one of the bigger jobs that your brother had was when that awful, and I have goosebumps, when that awful parking garage in the city collapsed.
Oh, Ann Street Garage, yeah. Yeah, that was...
And what your brother was picking off of that pile, I'll let you give the punchline. Like, what was he mostly picking out?
Cars that were unrecognizable. I mean,
but a lot of EVs, he was telling me.
Oh yeah,
I'm leading you now.
Also, yeah. You are leading the conversation. So yeah, the problem is that infrastructure. So these garages were built 100 years ago, and we got Safety Bill here. He knows. And you know, garages were built 100 years ago, and they cannot handle the weight capacity of these electric vehicles.
Either.
They weren't maintained, you're right. A lot of things slipped through the cracks with the inspectors.
Literally.
But that was the important part, because now look what happens.
The weight load capacity. So I've been arguing about this too. So for instance, you have a parking structure, a concrete structure. You know, it's kind of like if you think of rooms in hotels and fire standards, you know, max capacity 250 people. Okay. So buildings also have max load capacities.
Correct.
So if you're a valet or whatever, you're told by your boss, hey, we can fit 80 SUVs, 50 sedans, whatever have you. But that's on an old weight load capacity
it's
number.
Not even that too. We found out that they were putting the EVs up on the top.
That's crazy, bro.
On the roof.
Because
With more weight.
Because let's slow this conversation down a second for people who may not understand. The EV batteries are causing the weights of these cars to go up exponentially.
Correct.
Like one of the things you and I found out, speaking of the Riwalto, when we had the double stacker, you and I were like going back and forth, trying to find a configuration to try to get that Riwalto on that double stacker. On the top lift, particularly when we were trying to get the Dream Ride. And we had to go back to the manual because we were like, hold on. Before we even keep trying to go on the stacker, we come to find out that the lift of the double stacker has a weight load capacity of 5,000 pounds.
Yep.
And then we realized, oh shoot, let's see how much the Riwalto weighs. And we were at like 45 and change.
Yeah, it was.
On how much that car even weighed.
So we didn't even get a chance to get it on. Imagine like trying to lift it up. It probably wouldn't even have picked it up, honestly.
Right.
So that, weight is a big factor. And I like the point that you bring out about the EVs is that, you know, God forbid somebody gets hit, whether, you know, God forbid, whether it be a child or an adult. Yeah. I mean,
school bus.
You said that it's detrimental because the weight, the centripetal force, the impact, it's devastating. And then the fires, firefighters can't put them out. So, you know, speaking of tow shows and, you know, new products coming out, they literally have come out with fireboxes and they look like dumpsters, and they have a winch set up in them. And, you know, towers, they are available for purchase for fire departments and towers, and you winch the car in when it's engulfed in flames, and you fill it up with water until it burns out, because this lithium ion gets so hot that it can't be put out with water. So, you know, you just leave it soaking in there like a bathtub, and eventually I guess it goes out. I don't think they put fire foam in there, but that's like some of the things that, you know, that's part of the infrastructure and the evolution of EVs, is that we need these things so that we can be safe. But, you know, like you see news articles and stuff, accidents, to crash into a tree, they get locked in it because of these electronic doors, and the people burning them.
Tesla had the highest fatality rate for 2023 of all the cars in the United States.
One.
I know.
I think I have to get rid of it.
Well, here's just something else for people to understand when they're buying these vehicles, and then it goes into the emergencies. And we would love to hear some we would love to hear the unfortunate stories of the emergencies that you guys have had to handle. But a lot of people don't realize that those aluminum guardrails that you may see on the highways, they're rated for about 40 miles per hour, given an average weight, again, of a car. So if you're in a Tesla and you are going 60 and above and you hit a guardrail, guess what? You're going through that guardrail.
100%.
You are not being guided back onto, I mean, anybody obviously going above 40 miles an hour, but you have no chance in an EV battery car of that guardrail actually being there for you. Even if you were going 40 miles an hour, because you're so much heavier than a regular sedan, you are going through that guardrail.
And now you got these cyber trucks and you got these Hummers. They're
trash can
pushing 7,000. They're pushing 7,000 pounds. You know,
some of them are Hummers, I think, are more,
8,000 pounds. Yeah.
Well, for some comparison, because we do this in our construction consulting life, a typical forklift, like a class 4 or class 5 forklift, is at 9,000 pounds.
Yeah, they're like 10,000.
It's made out of Canadian steel, these forks. And we are just about as heavy as an industrial forklift, which to me is absolutely asinine.
It's insanity.
It's insane.
Yeah, even the trucks are 10,000 pounds.
And not to mention the EMF exposure, you know, radiation. Radiation, I mean, I have a Tesla, you know, I don't really knock people that own them, but you know, the exposure that you get to these things. I mean, when I first started driving it, you get nauseous. The radiation's in it. Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, you remember when we have the hybrids and we've been going even on and off the
you were
lift,
getting sick.
I would get vertigo.
Yep.
From going from reverse to forward. And at first glance, I was like, what's wrong with me? But there's something. And then I was calling this person. They're like, oh, yeah. They're like, I'm getting a little whoop, whoop.
Whatever that kinetic energy produces, it causes those issues, you know, whether it be, you know, headaches or nausea. I mean, I don't know. I don't like them. I don't like EVs. I'm not a big fan of them. Like Bill said,
I just drive a Tesla every day.
Listen, it's parked right now. It's parked.
It's a clown car.
I got my smart car.
But to Little Pete's and EVs, you guys have a special truck that is meant just for broken down EVs. That's just like certain classification that you guys were awarded from AAA.
Oh yes, so that truck. We actually Zips customized that truck. It's an electric charging truck. You know, if somebody runs low on battery, we'd meet up with them, and then you go and plug them in and give them a little range just to get to the charging station, or
so they can sit at the gas station for a half hour of their time. Yeah, depending on how cold it is outside too.
There's another factor. You know, it's the Mother Nature. If it's too cold out, it drains the battery. I mean,
and the lithium can't recharge.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
So why don't we talk about some of the calls you guys have been on?
Like what? Like
maybe not the grossest stuff, or the grossest stuff.
I mean,
like what's the craziest situation you've been put in?
The 10 years I'm in business with Pete, I haven't seen anything too crazy like myself. But my brother-in-law, Ray, you met Ray, right?
Yeah, Ray's great.
He actually seen a car in Cold Spring. A guy went to go get groceries, was on his way home. He veered off the road, went down an embankment, and he was dead in that car.
Yeah.
And they
have to turn
Ray
the car
got there.
over. Yeah.
No, it was actually nose down. So they Ray pulled it. They pulled the body out, and then Ray extracted it from the embankment, and you know, that screwed him up. It screws you up mentally, you know.
Of course it does.
Yeah. And then another time, this was last year, I think, a young kid went around a pole, and I forget where that one was, but anyway, he had to pick up that car. That kid was trapped around the pole, and that one, when he pulled it up, it got blood all over the deck. So yeah, you see some gnarly shit,
Kid
man.
was there too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about towing and this whole industry, you guys have like some type of emotional stamina. Like there's a lot of stuff that you guys, because you're dealing with, whether it's Co-op City and you're pulling, you're towing.
Yeah, it's very diversified.
Yeah.
So whether you're doing, illegally parked vehicles, there's also repossessions, then you have your recovery, and then you have your, your accidents / recovery where, you have your DOAs and you have your drunk drivers and everything like that. So you see some gnarly stuff. Yeah, for sure. You gotta have a strong stomach. You gotta have strong mental state to deal with this kind of these kind of situations.
I hope you have good friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of friends, I mean, and then you also just have to react to people who have been in an accident. Yeah. Like you have literally come got me. You have come and gotten me. What's the English? You rescued me.
I rescued you in the snow. Bill, did you ever see the video?
From spinning flat on an icy patch.
Bill, she was in the woods, Bill.
I was in the woods. I had a tree to my left and a pole to my right, and I took it down.
She called me.
Like
She's like, Mikey,
touchdown.
I'm stuck in the woods. I cannot move.
Come get me.
Carmela is, right?
Carmela, my BMW. Yeah.
Was in the woods.
I was on my way to a closing.
Dude, she had trees like this on the side of the car.
Do you not follow me on my Instagram channel? There's a whole vlog about this.
I don't follow anybody.
Wow. Well,
I'm not on social media.
You're not on.
Okay.
You're just running a social media like brand.
You're running it.
Oh,
no.
It's nice to have the evidence.
Nobody.
Well,
She's running it. I'm part
So Shari _Schwick _wheels. You too can find the vlogs of Shari and Mikey doing some funny things.
There you go. Yeah, and I pulled you out and got you back onto the road, and you went to your closing.
No, I actually didn't go to the closing.
Oh,
it was a closing. I just decided not to go. I was like, this is a bad omen. I was less than 2 miles from the house, and I just made a right, and it had been salted and plowed, and Carmelo just decided to, become a snowboarder that day.
Next time, take a truck.
I thought it was fine.
Ice.
It was not a lot.
It's 4-wheel drive, not 4-wheel stop.
And to everybody out there, if you think the elements are not that bad, I mean, that little embankment was nothing.
No.
And I really could not get out of it in all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It was very humbling.
And there wasn't even a lot of snow on the road where you veered off. Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot to ruin a... But you were so great. Nothing was hurt on the car.
Not a thing.
Not even the alignment was off.
we put the self strap on the rear and we just winched it straight out. The same way you went in is the same way you came out. And we made it easy.
So we're starting we're starting a driving thing down there.
Wow.
So I'm trying to drive. We're starting
wow.
What are we starting now?
Wow. Why don't you take a breath and take a sip of water and calm down, Uncle Billy Schwick.
You said you wanted some comedy. So.
Bill, can you take a drink of water, dude?
I mean,
so we're starting to drive.
Comedy
a Florida
and then
drive, but it's not going too well. It's not starting off on the right foot so far.
Wow.
Okay, so what have you been doing?
I didn't even get the question.
What have
I didn't even get the question out.
I don't know. I've been trying to get your buddy.
I'm asking a question now.
This is great. I'm just trying to keep my calm,
Bill.
so I don't.
But you don't need to keep it
so
calm.
I don't hit you. I'm talking with my hands, so I don't.
Well, that's
do that.
an Italian, yeah. But I'm
Billy.
German.
Billy.
So what have you been doing the last?
I've been working. What do you think?
Crashing any cars since
No,
then? Okay,
God
so
forbid.
I know something very well. I don't want, but I also don't want to bring the energy down either.
Go ahead.
I guess I just did. But another thing that you guys do, which is incredible, which has happened since Vegas or was happening at the time of Vegas, is you guys respond to a lot of national disasters, not natural disasters. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Peter and you guys will just you'll leave the comforts of everything. And you guys, how many trucks did you tow down to Southwest Florida this last hurricane?
I think he brought about 4 trucks.
He had a tow truck on a rig. Mm-hmm. He towed a tow truck on a rig, so he would have an extra tow truck down there.
Correct, because there was a lot of cars that
had to just
from the hurricane,
just full of sand and water, and And then when you guys do that, you're just staying in trailers, non-potable water, the whole thing.
He had his RV trailer down there.
He was glamping.
Glamping. And
I don't know if he was glamping, but he was down there.
he was close to the Cape House actually.
No, we know.
Yeah.
No, the
No,
Seminole,
the Seminole House.
Oh, he was in Punta Gorda. Yeah.
Yeah, Seminole House. Yeah.
That sounded almost very naughty what you just said.
What?
The city that he said. He's like, he was in. Say it again.
Punta Gorda.
This is such a funny word.
It is a weird town, Punta Gorda.
All right.
They must have been on a lot of alcohol when they named that town.
They might have been. I don't know. It's the point. I mean, right? It means what does it mean in
don't know.
Spanish?
I think he
don't
towed
know.
over
He told it to the wrong
150, almost 250 cars, right? Didn't he get like
Something like that. A big number. Yeah.
And he did. I think when he was done with it, after about 2 to 3 weeks.
Something like that.
Yeah, he wasn't there as long as the last one. Yeah. And I think it was over 250.
You talk
cars.
to him more than I do, so.
Used to, but he seems to be preoccupied right now.
So you've driven a number of our cars already.
Correct.
What is like one of your favorite things to drive?
Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I want to say it.
You like driving the Rivolto?
I like that car.
You
I
did.
do. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I like that car.
Well, it's gone.
The maintenance on that thing was crazy.
It's gone. It's.
And then you also have owned a.
You know what a
couple-
maintenance package on that car is? Oh, I cut you off. Sorry.
Go ahead, Bill.
And you
Just
didn't say
say.
nothing? Wow.
How much is the maintenance package?
15,000.
Ah, that's light work for you.
Okay. You buy a clown car with that.
What happened, Cher?
I don't even know if I remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, you own a bunch of cars yourselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, I downsized myself.
Come on,
but
don't-
I had a
don't.
Hellcat Durango. Bill called it a fake Hellcat.
It was not a fake
call it
Hellcat.
a
Pulled up.
fake
I
Hellcat?
pulled up when he
You had it in Destroyer Gray as
I
well.
didn't call it a fake Hellcat.
Yes, you did. Sherry could be my witness. I pulled up.
Oh, your
pulled
brother
up.
had a Scat Pack. That's a fake Hellcat.
You, he also has a King of the Road too. You also have a
Camaro SS1LE,
gorgeous car.
6-speed manual, a real
That
man's
you never
car.
drive.
A
A
real
real
man's car.
car.
Not automatic.
So
That's
what year
what paddle
is
shifting is for.
that? So what year is that?
That's a 2023.
And you got it in a standard 6?
Yeah.
That was
And
the
they
last ones.
that was the last one. They closed the Lansing, Michigan plant and the 5th gen Camaro.
Okay, so Bill has completely hijacked this podcast and he has left the building to go
He has
take a phone
left the
call.
building.
Can you imagine Billy glamping with Peter in the same trailer?
Oh my God, Billy cannot be in a fucking camper. Are you kidding me?
I can't even handle him in the house.
He's a bougie little boy. He cannot be. He's pretty boy.
Do you remember? There's a reel of me when we are driving on the autobahn in Italy, and we're getting into one of our fights, and he's videotaping me after the fight, of course, so that I'm calm. And I go, "I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry that your wife is driving you through Italy in an Urus." And he goes, "Bah bah bah bah." And I go, "I'll pay somebody good money. I will pay somebody $500 to take you for the whole day." I mean, picking you up in the morning, making sure your socks are on, that you have comfortable shoes, feeding you, da 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 da. My friend Michelle calls me. She goes, "I can do it. Billy's no problem." I said, "Fine." I said, "But get this. You can't turn around and be like, oh, I made it halfway. You owe me $250. I said, "This is all or nothing. You take him for the whole day or you get nothing." She calls me in 2 hours. She goes, "I can't do this anymore."
Oh my God.
Brings him back home. She goes, "Billy is herding cats into a bathtub."
Herding cats into a...
Herding cats into a bathtub.
Yeah, 'cause cats hate water.
Because cats hate water. Herding cats, first of all, is next to impossible. And then trying to herd them into a bathtub of water. She said that's what Billy is.
He is a great person. He will
Thanks.
give you the shirt off his back.
I think
but
so.
He is not an easy person to deal with.
I will tell you this about my husband. He's literally given his shoes to a person in Manhattan, homeless.
Let's talk
He
about
is that guy.
Yeah, he is. He's great. He'll give you a jacket if you're cold. Yeah.
But goddamn if he can't use a fork and knife at the table.
And God forbid,
Or not
God
to-
forbid, there's a fucking pepper.
Or take a phone call during a podcast with a guest.
Well,
in our
that.
home.
But what
So
about
I
if there's a
apologize.
pepper in his food or a speck of something that he doesn't like? Forget it.
He eats.
He'll flip the table over.
Can you imagine what it's like for me being Italian and trying to cook around here?
Oh.
He has no peppers.
What is this?
No
What is
peppers.
this?
No peppers. No onions. No mushrooms. No eggplant. No shrimp. No white sauce. And if he can taste garlic, it's too much.
Oh man!
Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
We freaking use garlic as fucking underarm deodorant.
We
us
use
Italians.
garlic as antibiotics.
Yeah. And you can't cook with it because it is stunad.
I
That's
mean,
German.
I hide it all. I hide it as best I can.
Oh my God! You got to get him. You ever see those brownies in the store that they have the vegetables hidden in them for the kids?
I have thought about it.
You got to get him that.
I got to put spinach in the brownies.
I mean, he's definitely gets his Wheaties
Yeah.
in, but like
Well, he eats 8 eggs at a time.
it's almost a dozen.
It's almost a dozen. Like, we'll go on vacation, and he will go up to the omelet line, and like they don't know what to do with him.
Oh my God!
He doesn't want the omelet. He just wants the eggs in the pan.
Give me
And
give
they
me
go,
8 sunny
excuse me,
side up
excuse me,
eggs. This
excuse
is an
me.
omelet station.
Yeah, I want 7
can't.
eggs.
I can't.
And then he yells at them because, you know, at the omelet stations, they have the little pans.
yeah.
So he asked for 8 eggs. This just happened on the last vacation. And they put all 8 eggs in the little
In
pan.
Curacao.
Yeah. And he lost his shit. I was like, I had to go to the girl and be like, listen, put 4 eggs in this pan, put 4 eggs in that pan, and have a day.
No, I still make fun of him when you guys went to La Prima
You cannot.
About what?
and he ate the cheeseburger in Italy.
Well, I'm going to tell you something
didn't eat
about
no
that
cheeseburger.
cheeseburger. We sure did. I'm going to give the quick story about this.
Talking about where?
Okay,
You
so
talking about in Milan?
yeah.
You
was
ate
that?
a fucking
What
cheeseburger.
was that? The Hard Rock.
I'm actually going to defend you,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
the
never
Hard
do.
Rockers.
Okay, so we came to the end of our glorious 10-day trip in Italy. Okay, and we had done Rome, Bologna, of course, and then we decided to do a few days in Milan.
Right. Oof.
And
Milan.
Billy is not a fan of Milan.
Milan is.
So anywho, and you know Italy, it's amazing, but you know after a while, so we come out of the Duomo, which is just absolutely glorious. 700 years to build this church, right? It's just it's a phenom. And
Billy went to church and the church didn't melt.
I know.
Dude, I had
God
a
bless.
question. You do know that, right?
I pray for 2. I don't know. Anyways,
I was a Christian before Sharon was.
Were you an altar boy too?
I was.
You were an altar
been a
boy?
lifelong
Sharon,
believer
he was
of
an
Christ.
altar boy.
I was
Did you
an
know
altar
that?
boy for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Carried the urn, the fire.
He's
the
also been
smoke.
baptized more than I know anybody else.
I've only been
He
baptized
might need to be
once.
rebaptized again. You're supposed to only have 1 baptism, but you've had more than 1 baptism. Anywho,
I'm a sinner,
I
but
was
I'm also a
actually
winner.
going to defend you. Can I tell the story where
I'm a sinner
Go ahead.
and a
The
winner.
cheeseburger. She
Yeah,
wants
go
to tell
ahead.
you about the cheeseburger.
cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
The cheeseburger.
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 Well, we gotta get the puppies.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
We're coming out of the Duomo. We're really hungry. And you know, it's just like that point where you're just burned out of being a tourist, wherever you are. You're just burned out.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I can't have
Yeah,
one
that's
more.
like when we're here.
I hit my limit. Exactly. I hit my limit
get
with
McDonald's when
Anapod.
you-
I just hit my limit
Yeah.
with what I could handle anymore. A little wine, a little pasta for lunch. I couldn't do it anymore. And we had made fun of the Hard Rock on the way into Milan. We're like, these tourists, they're going to go to the Hard Rock, right? Because we're still like, now we're like, pseudo-Italian now.
Yeah,
after
of course,
10
of
days
course.
in Europe, right? And so it's our very last day. We're coming out of Duomo in Milan. And we both kind of like had it. And we both kind of look at each other. And we're like, what do you want to do for lunch? What do you want to do for lunch? See who's going to say it first. And we both kind of do like the on 3. And we're like, cheeseburger.
Hard Rock was right there in the middle of Milan.
So we walk back
It
to
was dried in the Sahara
Yeah.
Desert too,
we
right?
we go to the Hard Rock Milan, and they have really flown in frozen burger patties from the United
It was
States
horrible.
because you taste the taste
It
of
was
a
like a
frozen
hockey
burger.
puck.
They should not be in
Exactly.
business.
And we had this glorious food experience this whole 10 days, right? We are not walking 20 minutes after we've been at the Hard Rock, and you can just feel your stomach and your intestines go
Yeah.
like on you, and you were
no.
like,
Never again.
"I was so sick." It was horrible.
And no, don't eat the pizza in Milan either.
Here we go.
Oh my God.
Anyhow,
Anyway,
so would you like to? We have a fast Q&A section of all of our podcast episodes, and it's called Going Full Throttle. Are you ready to go full throttle?
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. It's just whatever comes to your mind. There is no wrong answer. And then we'll just kind of see where this takes us.
Okay.
You ready to go, buddy?
Let's do it,
Okay.
girl.
Oh, this one I think we kind of talked about already. Paddles or stick?
Stick.
Nice.
You know, that took you a while to say that.
Because you know what? After I drove the Porsche, which is another one of the favorite cars, not to get off the beaten path,
okay.
but the paddles are, that transmission is crazy. So I mean, you know, it has its pros and it has its cons.
Supposedly they're saying that paddles are better for the engine at this point.
I mean,
I think it runs better too than a stick.
I ain't no expert, but
That's
I mean, it could be.
the science.
It
Is
could
like
be.
there's too much human error into the
shifting
shifting with the clutch.
putting wear on the
You're
clutch
putting
and everything like that. Yeah.
unnecessary wear and tear
because
on the
you're
engine.
doing it blind. Everything is underneath.
And I mean, even if you are going into manual, like say on the STO, and like you screw up, it'll just be like, oh, you forgot to upshift. Like it'll just go for
Yeah,
you.
the computer will shift it so
Right.
it doesn't over rev. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, paint or wrap?
Paint. I don't.
Really?
I'm not a big. Even though we have the tow trucks wrapped, I'm like a personal car. I'm not a big wrap guy.
You know what's interesting? Out of everybody who we talk to, even like some rappers or people who do lots of rapping, everybody like there's a lot of people. It's just something about the authenticity of the paint.
No offense to Vin Pin, but like I
Yeah.
wanted to do my truck. There's a guy that does hand painted letters on the truck, and he takes gold leaf, and he puts the gold leaf and then blows it off into the shape of and it literally is like hand painted all the way down the side of the truck, and it's clear coated, and it looks amazing, you know, and it's nostalgic and it's original, and it's something that faded out because of wraps and because of vinyl letters, but it's coming back.
Well, there's very few people who can actually do like the pinstripe flames. Like I think Chuck Zito knows a guy, probably one of the last guys who can actually do
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Hand-
knows all the pinstripes.
flames.
And then there's a guy who works at Rolls Royce that does the pinstripes too.
That's very likely.
He's an expert.
2-door or 4-door?
Let's see. Well, it depends. I mean, for like a daily or an exotic, or
Just personal preference.
if it's a classic, I'd say 2-door. But like I wouldn't mind like an RS6, you know. But like a classic, always a 2-door because they hold their value.
Right. American Muscle or European exotic?
I like both, guys.
Well, I mean, you're talking to the right people. I
I
mean,
like both.
There's only one answer.
what's the answer?
What do you mean? You have
Either
both.
one. Can't have both.
You have
Either
both.
European
Oh.
or American.
It's his full throttle question, though.
Okay.
Okay. If you had to choose, Mike.
If I had to choose,
Yeah.
I think I'd go more towards European.
Yeah.
That's your fault, though. That's
Why?
Yeah,
because
We ruined you?
yes.
I'm
No
American
cheating.
muscle all the way.
Yes.
Oh, that's good to know.
American muscle.
All
Guys
the
got how many Lamborghinis?
I got more American muscles than I do Lamborghini.
I know Hellcat Bill. That's your new name, Hellcat Bill.
Hellcat fucking Bill, bitches.
All right. This one's easier. TRX or Raptor?
TRX. Yeah.
Now,
You
we
bet I said that.
didn't
Dude,
actually...
you think I was gonna say Raptor, dude?
We
Come
didn't
on.
explore this before. You've had a TRX stolen on you.
I did. So
Not our TRX.
I mean, if you want, Bill, I don't know if you ever heard the story, but I can kind of give you
Yeah,
the story
go
real
ahead.
quick. So I traded it in. I had, you know what? I wanted to get rid of it before. I thought the value was going to decline on it, and honestly, they didn't. They have held their value because the CEO that just stepped down of the Ram brand, which actually Kaniskis is back.
Yeah. He's bringing it back.
He got rid of the Hellcat engine, and so I thought, you know, whatever the case might be. So I traded it in, and I wanted the Hellcat Durango because I wanted a little more pep. And I traded it in to Healy Brothers up in Newburgh, over the bridge there, and I got a phone call that it was stolen, and I was like, after I traded it in, and I'm like, oh, I hope they don't think that like I'm behind this or something, because, you know, I literally just traded it in. But, you know, we know that Hellcats, they tend to get stolen.
Yep, we do know that.
They did steal a Hellcat Durango that I test drove, plus my TRX. And I babied that truck.
Now, did they ever find the remnants of your truck?
They found it. They found it fully intact. Actually, the front bumper was pushed in, probably because they were pushing the other Hellcats when they steal.
Oh, yeah, they probably used
Yeah.
it for that.
So
They were using your truck as a utility truck.
yeah, and then they tried to sell it on the lot. They fixed it up, and nobody would buy it. So then they auctioned it off. But it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I love that truck. I should have never got rid of it, you know, but it is what it is. It's gone now. And
Yeah. Oh, the relationships with cars.
yep.
Convertible or coupe?
Coupe. No convertible. Nah.
Not even a Spider.
I would do a Spider.
You would do
I
a Spider over a coupe?
McLaren. He likes the McLaren. Hypercross.
Yeah, you in the McLaren. This
Never
guy.
getting rid of that car.
You hid
Ever.
you hid that behind Sharon's back when you got that car. She wasn't happy.
No, it was the Millimotor. I can't say that.
Let's not do it now.
I can't do that.
We'll do that another
Yeah.
another episode.
This episode of Fully Disclosed.
That'll be with Pete.
Yeah, right? M Series or Hellcats?
M Series.
Nice. Turbo or supercharger?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. That's a hard question because I like turbo diesels.
Yeah.
You know, I like the.
I never even thought of the turbo diesel.
Yeah.
That's a nice little subcategory I
Same.
didn't think of.
And well, if I had to choose vehicle wise, I'd probably say supercharger, like gasoline.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that wine. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. OEM or aftermarket?
I'm an OEM plus guy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I'll change little things, intake, exhaust. But I won't put every day is Saturday all over my car, you know.
Yep.
And
I'm gonna put it on all my fucking cars.
Poor Tim. He's just getting hammered.
Tim sold that phrase to
Tim, okay, for everyone to understand, that is Tim's phrase. Every day is Saturday.
Yeah,
it's
but
a great catchphrase.
But Tim gave it to Bill.
I feel like it was hijacked.
I
And
own
then,
the
but
fucking
Tim
rights to that
lives
now.
the life of every day is Saturday. You actually never calm down. You're on a podcast texting.
Doing work.
Okay, Uncle Billy or Shari Schwick?
Careful what you say. Well, I mean, Billy's a great guy, but he's hard to fucking deal with. He really is.
He's gonna say something about me too.
He really is.
If I
Sharon,
was so hard, I would
No,
have
he's
fucking
gonna say
seized it for
something.
pressure in my car.
listen.
Let him go through it.
Sharon has her moods.
I do.
She could be a little bitchy.
I can be mooch. I can be a
okay.
shapeshifter.
It's okay.
I'm not moody. I'm the
But
nicest guy in the
everybody
world.
has their day. But if I
Yes.
had to choose, I think I would go with Sharon.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Bill.
Listen, next time you need to get paid, you can call Sharon. And
She'll-
I'll block
I
the
am the one
fucking
who
show.
pays
She'll
everybody.
just sell it from your fucking account.
She won't sell now. I'll block that shit and freeze it. I'll freeze every fucking asset. And I'll go to Switzerland in a hot tub and send her a picture. Okay? How about you fucking think about this, Mikey? And Mikey's going to call me up. I don't say, Mikey, I'm in Switzerland, motherfucker.
I think
I'm
you're-
not selling you shit.
I think your bald ass would scare the hell out of those people.
No.
All right, Mike. This has been Shari Schwick of Schwick Wheels with Uncle Billy, and we've been behind the wheels, and we brought in Michael DiNome of Little Pete's Towing today. Ride together, stay together, live forever, everybody. We'll see you on the road.